You're doing it because you say, I can get a push out of this bet where otherwise I would lose.
Right, but it's different with point spreads as opposed to something like this.
Total?
Yeah, especially where, you might have 60 points scored in the Patriots-Rams game, but you're talking like, what are you going to, 3 goals max as a rule in the NHL in one period. You might have the oddball game where you'll get like 6 goals in the first period. It's just some crazy outcome. I think you saw it in a couple of the games coming out of the break. I think the Pittsburgh game the other night with Buffalo was nuts. But I don't know. I'm not a totals guy anyway.
Sure, but what do you think of these 7? Do you think? Obviously,
I think you need to start putting 7s up.
Is this a precursor of things to come? And there's heavy juice to the under on these. Minus 30, minus 35.
I think it is till the playoffs because I think a couple of things will happen in the playoffs. Number one, I don't think they'll call the slashing penalty as much, which means less power plays, and it also means that players will at least have the thought that they can get away with more defensively.
Sure.
And will do so. Now, I could be dead wrong on that. They might call it just like they've called it in the regular season, but the players have learned fairly quickly in the regular season that two-handers, you're going to the penalty box. And consequently, they're not playing. Well, it's just not. It's tougher to defend. And so I think that I don't think you'll see 7s come playoff time, but I think you're going to see 7s appearing at least on an intermittent basis in the NHL the rest of the regular season.
A handful of teams.
Yeah, there's certain teams that they're all offense, no defense, and the games just keep going over. So eventually you have to make some kind of adjustment. So let's talk about. Oh, by the way, I think I haven't read the email yet, but I will shortly to find out if Cliff Miller's going to join us tomorrow. Hopefully he's going to come in tomorrow so we can give it a Super Bowl pick from the man at MJ Christensen and talk about some Valentine's Day specials as well. They're available now at MJ Christensen. So if we have gotten that time of year. By the way, why aren't you talking Super Bowl? Well, we're going to do so in the second half of the show when Patrick Everson joins us, and he's got a wealth of information that you want to hear. But right now, I want to talk a little college basketball because it's bubble time. And this is what, and I know some people are going to cringe at this. Oh, God, I can't stand it. I think it's fun, okay? I think it keeps the interest going every day on something other than who's ranked in the top 5 because we all know who's ranked in the top 5 and who cares, okay? We're waiting for March Madness for those teams. To me, the interest is on the teams that are scratching and clawing, trying to get in, trying to stave off getting stuck in a situation where they have to win the conference tournament or they're going to be in the NIT or worse. So this stuff is interesting, and I also think it matters. I do factor it into my analysis because unlike the NFL or the NBA or any pro sport where the players probably don't give a damn about any of this stuff, the college players read this stuff. They're really into it, and they want to know where they are. And if Team A, and this is a point to be made for your Florida tonight, they have now dropped into the last four in.
No, they're in first four out. I'll go through,
yes.
Yeah, I'll go through the 16
that does
teams
matter.
real quick. Yeah.
That does matter to Florida. I'll guarantee every player on that team knows that Lenardi's got them in their first 4 out. And that's going to heighten their intensity somewhat and their focus because it's like, oh, we're in trouble. We got to win.
Sure. I mean, if they're not any good, it doesn't matter.
Right.
We talk about this in the NFL all the time late in the season where you have these must-win games, and, if they're in a must-win situation, it's because they weren't that good to begin with. And, I mean, right now, you got Indiana with a bye.
Well.
Okay.
And sinking fast.
I mean, so.
But as of now, you could probably make the case that if the season ended today, Indiana would actually be in the tournament.
Which is stupid.
I know, but they're going to play their way out of it. They're going to move down that list.
Sure. So they have Minnesota with a bye. Okay, these are the 14's last 4 byes. Indiana, Minnesota, UCF, St. John's. Then the last 4 in, Arizona State, Seton Hall, VCU, and Alabama. So do all those teams then just exhale? They're like, oh, whew, we're in.
I don't know. I think you look at that and kind of say, uh-oh. We better not lose another game. I mean, St. John's loses tonight at Creighton. One would assume they're going to drop a sector.
Oh, yeah, at least
from
one.
Last 4 in to first 4 out, or worse.
Sure, but this will yo-yo for a month and a half now.
And that's what makes it fun because I think it enters into the daily analysis. We know the players think about it. Uh-huh. It's big to the fans because the fans really follow this stuff at their schools, and these are the kids, the students. Yep. The students are into it.
Sure.
And it does contribute to me in my daily analysis. I mean, look, if I'm looking at Tennessee Martin against SEMO in the Ohio Valley Conference, I don't have to check this list. But for major conference games with teams that might be in that bubble range, yeah, I'm checking on a daily basis. I want to know if I can guess what their mindset is.
So right now, first four out, Florida, who we talked about, Creighton, who we just talked about as being
big game
potentially a bet-on team right now, Butler, a team we talked about, that we're not particularly excited about this evening, but in that first 4 hour range, and Utah State. I'm not convinced the Mountain West deserves 2 bids.
Neither am I. I hope they get 2 bids.
Exactly.
And I thought Fresno State was really in good position, but then they went and lost to Colorado State, which was a bad loss for them. I mean, props to Colorado State because I love what Nico Medved is doing with a limited roster, but if you're Fresno, you got to win that game. And by the way, just talking about Fresno for one reason, you can't just shoot threes all the time, which Fresno does way too often.
Sure, they're not a low-post team. They're not an inside-out offense.
But in the Mountain West, you're not facing the iron of the world in the Mountain West. Get the ball inside and get some good looks. There was just, they were like 8 for 30 or something against Colorado State from three-point range. It's like you got to be going inside against a team like that, if for no other reason to get their big dude in foul trouble because they have no depth.
Sure.
So I thought that was not the best coaching job by Hudson in that game, and he's got to fix that.
30 three-point attempts against Colorado State is too many.
Yeah, it's way too many. By the way, they're at Wyoming tonight, and they should win that game by like 80.
Yeah, they're mad.
I didn't play it, and I might regret not playing it.
Next 4 out, by the way, after Florida, Creighton, Butler, Utah State. The next 4 out, San Francisco, the Dons.
A couple of bad losses recently.
Yup, they're real good non-conference, but not as good of late. Temple, Arizona, and Clemson.
Boy, it's
how's Arizona?
Tough for me to make a case of Arizona even being in conversation at this point.
Yeah, it's like
maybe if they get some people back and make a run, but right now they're just not a tournament team.
And let's not forget, this entire list doesn't include a single steal-a-bid team.
Right.
And there will be steal-a-bid teams. So when you think about it, the next 4 out, they're really 3 or 4 behind that because somebody's going to steal a bid.
Something else I think college basketball handicappers will look at down the stretch are the dead teams walking.
Yeah.
Teams that you do not want to bet on and that you might be looking to play against. And these would include teams that have had really disappointing seasons and are dead until their conference tournament. Coaches, either on the hot seat or on the way out the door. You want to pick a couple of those. I think Tim Miles is now in real trouble at Nebraska, and the team looked like they gave up a little bit in the Wisconsin game last time out.
And that's at home.
That's where they're usually
such a
really
strong
good.
home court ATS that's got to be factored in the whole rest of the season.
Yeah, I think Nebraska's a team right now with the arrow down. And then you've got one, and I'll just throw them out there in the Big West. Cal Poly at this point is a flat fade, or leave him alone if the number's too big because Joe Calero's almost certainly going to get fired. And it's like, who? But it does matter on teams like that where they know the coach is going to be out of there at the end of the year. They're playing for nothing. Maybe you get a surge of energy in the conference tournament, but until the conference tournament, teams like that, to me, are on the no-play list.
What about a team like Cal? They're just, god-awful, and the markets recognize that they're god-awful. But where situations, for the future is very much in flux.
Right.
Is that an auto-fade team like
see,
that?
to me, I don't know what to do with that. I don't want to play on them because they just suck. But, I don't think the coach, I don't necessarily think he's in trouble yet. It's only his second year, right?
What about Larinaga at Miami?
Well, they got 9 million injuries. I mean, Larinaga's there. Larinaga has a lifetime contract until he wants to leave. No, he could leave after this year. He's not a young guy. But, and this has been a really frustrating season, but they're down to 7 scholarship players, and one of those doesn't play. So it's really tough. You saw it in the Florida State game. I mean, they made a nice run late in the first half, or semi-late in the first half, and then you could see in the last few minutes of the first half, their legs were gone, and Florida State just killed them. I mean, they went on like a 14-0 run, and that was the end of the basketball game. And you've got 2 teams in the Big East that are really, or ACC, I beg your pardon, we know they're extremely well coached, but they're just out of players. Notre Dame is the other one.
Yeah, sure.
And you saw it against Duke. They had no chance in that basketball game. And shame on me for not betting Duke, because
You saw in Virginia that they couldn't compete.
No, they just Notre Dame's completely overmatched at this point.
Yeah.
And so those are the things you look at down the stretch to me, and they become more important than power ratings to me.
Much more. If you're relying on power ratings exclusively to make bets in February in college basketball, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I would say so.
You have to get morphing teams. You have to get teams that are playing at a different level than their power ratings would indicate based on short-term data and all the long-term guys we looking to bet it the other way, all the bigger sample size guys. What do you make of a team like West Virginia? Would they be on your fade list here?
Yeah, they've been on my fade list. Yeah. Now, I didn't get involved tonight because Iowa State is coming off one of the most ridiculous shooting performances I've ever seen. I mean, what they did in that game on Saturday at Ole Miss, you got to look at the box score. It's like, holy what? I know they're a good offensive team, but nobody's that good.
Like Georgia against Texas or something, where just everything went down.
Yep. Yeah, and you saw what happened to Georgia the next game. Wasn't real good. Although, and here's the funny thing. Georgia couldn't miss against Texas. And last night, 15 for 29 from the foul line.
I know.
They couldn't make a free throw.
I had them. I didn't think Arkansas could lay that.
That did you in. The free throw shooting.
Everything did.
Of all
things.
Georgia,
they were right there, and even with them a couple minutes to go, they were right there.
Well, but the one area you're almost never going to lose against Arkansas is foul shooting percentage because Arkansas cannot shoot free throws. And Arkansas wasn't particularly good last night, 15 for 22. But then you saw Georgia with 14 misses out of 29, and that's why Arkansas won and covered. They might have won the game, but they would not have covered the spread. And
Georgia had a chance with they missed a layup in the last minute that would have absolutely changed the way that last minute played out.
The thing on the Iowa State is that they actually could come up with another game like that tonight. But I still have a tendency to think teams bounce a little bit off a performance like that. And it's kind of a game where I think they know they're going to win going in. And I'm not comfortable laying big points in games like that because they just, it's an easy home win type of situation. So, but I don't want West Virginia. They will not be on my card at all the rest of the season. I can pretty much guarantee that. Break time. We'll come back. We'll get Joe's angle of the day. And then Patrick Everson joins us from Covers.com.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Hey, Las Vegas, the first ever DLC loan sale is happening right now. For the first time in over 20 years, we're putting our loans on sale. Right now until 6 p.m. on January 31st, all new customers will receive 25% off our already low rates for the duration of your loan. You can get up to $5,000 cash in less than 30 minutes. No application fee, no origination fee, no prepayment penalty, and you don't even need a checking account. We have 30 area locations or apply online at don'tbebroke.com. New customers will receive 25% off our normal rates. And don't worry, current customers, we have your back too, with a 10% discount. The loan sale ends 6 p.m. January 31st. Apply for free at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed by the Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Payment amounts based on biweekly pay frequency with annual percentage rate of 199.99%. Certain limitations may apply. Loans are subject to approval.
See your Vegas Golden Knights on February 12th against Arizona on the Flight Deck.
Presented by Allegiant.
The Flight Deck is where all the off-the-ice excitement happens, from the Knights Castle to the Night Line.
Tickets in the Flight Deck are standing room only and include all-you-can-eat food, beer, and wine.
Tickets are just $140.
Go to lvsportsnetwork.com for the link and use the promo code RADIO.
Sponsored by Glenn Lerner Injury Attorneys. In a wreck and need a check? One call. That's all.
Resale and transfer restricted on these Flight Deck sales. Tickets will be delivered via flash seats 48 hours before the game.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops in Henderson, Nevada. A computer can be the best holiday gift imaginable. It can bring such joy and fluffiness. Buying any other brand of computer than a PC Laptops computer can be painful. Can you imagine calling Chumbawamba and being placed on hold for forever? Finally, when someone in Chumbawamba answers, only to be told your on-site extended warranty is the delivery guy picking up your computer and then having to wait 8 weeks for them to tell you that your software problem isn't covered by the warranty? You end up paying a huge bill, and on top of it, you get your computer back and all your data is erased. That's brain damage. Avoid the pain and feel the love this holiday season. To make it impossible to resist, we're doing 12-month special financing on any PC Laptop's desktop or laptop computer. Have I lost my mind? Call us at 1-877-596-7283 for details or check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com, where we love you.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know